I was doing pasta until 2 o'clock tonight, so I had a kind of a strange day, but everything is fine. Nice to see you. And actually, I lost a little bit the first part of the meeting, but I know what you talked about.
Yeah, we're going to start
Yeah.
now. So this is a conversation between a lot of people that moved to Portugal and that established in Portugal. So let's meet you all and know what business is yours. Jenifer, turn on your mic and tell me, who are you?
Yeah, so I'm Jenifer. I am American from New York, but have been living in Europe for 6 years, and almost three of those years I've been in Lisbon. And I own a company called Rebel Rebel. I do natural wine imports, so I'm only working with wines from other European countries, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Austria. It started as a import and distribution. Comida Independent was my very first customer. And of course, I work with places like Prado or Gazeteiros or Senhor Uva, many more. And I opened a bottle shop almost 1 year ago. July 1st will be the 1 year anniversary of the shop, which is in the Estrela, next to Jardim da Estrela. Yeah, and the shop operates like a bottle shop. It also has a tasting room, and I operate like a little bar, like a little wine bar. No food, but wines by the glass for people to come in and enjoy and have a nice chat, or of course bottles to take away.
What is the name, sorry, of the shop?
Rebel Rebel. Rebel Rebel. Yeah.
Diana, who are you?
Yeah, no, I think I've been there.
Present yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Tiziana, I'm Italian. I'm living here in Portugal from almost 3 years. I am an XR director, also singer, and I've done many things. I'm coming from a restaurant dynasty family, and now I'm a pasta designer. So I have this project that is it's a fusion between Portugal and Italy, and I'm making I have a brand, my brand, Massa Azuleja. So the idea...
You just started. Yeah? You just started.
Yeah, I just started. I'm working on it from 1 year, but yes, let's say that now I start to see the first small flowers here and there. Nice. And it's a natural pasta. I use only natural product. There is a lot of art inside, a lot of also design in a way, and the site is going to be launched very soon. I was working with Airbnb in the experiences department as a creative workshop I was doing, and actually it was going nicely. And now I'm trying to find place where to set my massa, my pasta, and to try to sell and to improve my business.
Okay.
It's basically the thing.
Are you sleepy, Florian?
No, I'm listening.
Who are you?
Hi. So Florian, well, I'm a little bit like Jen, I'm from France. I'm not from the US, but I'm a wine importer, distributor, specialized in natural wine. I moved in Lisbon last September. I opened the wine shop / bar in Graça, Rua Damasceno Monteiro. And then I organized like a little wine fair called Pura Sede, focused on natural wine. And then I work a lot with my community, my neighborhood. We try to organize lots of collaboration with people around. And yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Shay.
Hey, so I'm Shay. I'm from London. I've been living in Portugal for just over 3 years, and I have a restaurant called Queimado. I started off, or my main business involved creating sort of concepts for brands like food events and pop-ups and this kind of stuff. And since I've been in Portugal, I've done a few of those, but just under a year, Amado's been running, and we've been sort of using that to kind of like put out some of our more kind of creative and culinary ideas, just to see what works and what doesn't work. I think like the community here has been really strong, and has been encouraged me to sort of like want to try out my own ideas to kind of like set up the restaurant.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Shay. How are you seeing the whole scenario regarding Lisbon and Portugal after? I mean, I don't know if we cannot say after, in the middle of this whole social change.
I mean, I feel very lucky that I'm here compared to where I've lived previously. I mean, I've lived in Paris and I've lived in London, where I both had restaurants. And I kind of feel the response here was better. And we hope that because of that, the recovery will be faster and smoother. I mean, like, I think for everyone, this has been such a kind of crazy situation where it's very difficult to really kind of like understand the full scope of things. But for me personally, having started my previous business in the last crisis back in 07, 08, there are some similarities that maybe not feel as nervous as I would have done if this was my first. I mean, I started a business in the height of a financial crisis. So I know that there's a way to navigate it, and you can actually come through the other side much better off. And so that's almost made me go back to my roots in terms of doing pop-ups, doing events, being a lot more adaptable with my product and with my brand, so as to be able to kind of survive and to keep moving forward one way or the other.
Gorilla, it's also your middle name, right?
No.
Yes or no? Gorilla Food, right?
No.
What do you mean?
No, I don't know who that is. Nah, my company is the Rebel Dining Society.
Rebel, yeah, wow, Gorilla.
That's it. Come on, bro.
Rebel, it's your middle name.
That's right.
Let's go to a double rebel. Jenifer.
So, and what was the question? Sorry.
No.
How are we? No.
Dude, you started with Jenifer.
What, Shay?
I said you started with Jenifer, no?
Yeah.
Then I started with you this second round with you.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Jenifer, how are you seeing the whole scenario regarding this pandemic crisis and the food business?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the experience that Shay has starting a company in a crisis. This is my second company, but the first completely on my own. And of course, you know, Portugal's not my home country, so there's already lots of difficult things to navigate as a business owner here. I think I've been pretty positive, trying to stay positive during this time. And in a way, kind of staying out of the day-to-day conversations, because I don't always feel that it relates to me, because my my business is so different from a restaurant, because it's a bottle shop and because the main floor is 10 square meters or 12 square meters. I'm already such a niche, I guess, not to mention being a natural wine importer distributor. But on the scary side, you know, with the restaurant closures, the biggest part of my business is distribution, and you know, no orders have been coming in since February or beginning of March, so that's scary.
For the re-entry, no order.
Sorry?
Not even now for the re-entry, no orders.
I've gotten three orders in the last week, very, very small, from restaurants. I've got an order, like Florian and I work together a lot, so I'm going to be selling wines for Florian to have in his shop, but I keep those separate in my mind. But from a restaurant perspective, I got, you know, an order for 6 bottles, an order for 12 bottles, and this is a big difference from what it was previous, before COVID-19. So and then, you know, my shop, of course, is I've chosen to stay closed. So I've reduced my business to delivery only since March 16th, and I choose to stay closed until further notice. I don't trust the public in general to keep the social distancing. I've already seen it fail already since after Easter or Mother's Day. And plus, you know, with the shop being so small, it doesn't make sense. I can only have one person in just to take some bottles away. They can't drink on site. So I'm waiting to see how the government reacts and how the public reacts over the next weeks, and trying to stay as positive as I can. I mean, I don't want to crawl in a hole and cry and think that we'll never go back to some version of normal, but I don't know.
Who are your clients? Portuguese and foreigners? Everybody?
Portuguese and foreigners, yeah. Of course, restaurant clients are almost all Portuguese, but international, like the Prado kind of restaurant, or Senhor Uva. But in the shop, it really varies. For a while, I was the only bar open on Mondays, and so I was getting a lot of industry because, of course, Mondays and Tuesdays are the days off for the chefs. So I was getting a lot of industry people on Monday nights, Monday afternoons. A lot of tourists, to be honest, a lot, because of course Lisbon has been super hot for the last several years for tourism, and people who are in the industry like me and Florian, who either are in the natural wine industry or are avid only natural wine drinkers, when we travel, we seek out those places. And so I have customers that would find me and find Ladi Dadi because they want to keep drinking those kinds of wines. And so I get a lot of tourists in the peak.
Let's hurry up. Zoom
Yep.
just told me that we have more
Okay.
men. Florian.
Yeah.
How are you handling all this?
Me, I feel I see a quite positive change, you know, because of well, everyone that kept being creative with our small business, they kind of survive, you know, because we don't have too much pressure with the rent or with employees. I mean, on myself, I always kind of prepare, you know, like not investing too much in money-wise, more into the content instead of the form, you know. So, well, me, I see lots of new businesses opening from that, you know, and like big businesses that collapse, and that's for sure. We lost a lot of clients with restaurant, with distribution, but in the same way, lots of little local place from small people have more power, and for me, it's really interesting. You know, I kind of focus on those on this movement. So,
Listen,
well,
how did you come up with the fair? You came in September, and then in a minute, you were making a beautiful fair. I haven't seen it, but I love the image. I want to know that design.
Yeah. Well, I was in Berlin before, and I used to organize already some of those natural wine fair. And then I moved here, and we started working with Jen and lots of different importers, and I already had the concept, you know. So I just wanted to do the first, you know, and to have it ready. To do it every year now. We do it every year now. It's gonna happen next March, hopefully.
For sure.
If it's possible.
So, Tiziana.
Yeah.
Tiziana.
I was thinking, not only now, I'm thinking every day, I think like everybody. I have also, I'm friends from Italy, I am talking to them, and also some of them, they have restaurants, and of course there the situation is really horrible. I mean, it's very, very, very difficult. Regarding to this situation, this time, and to my business, for example, my brand, what is happening with me is that I'm thinking to sell my pasta, my masa, for example, much more online to houses. Of course, the restaurant is not my target for now, or maybe yes, I don't know. But what's going on now that in my neighborhood, for example, which is Campo de Rique, I have started since last 3 months to sell pasta, and now it's going much better. Every day I get an order from here, from there, from here. I mean, those are very small steps, of course, but I feel very satisfied. And I think that, of course, the main project, which is Massa Azuleja, and is inspired to the azulejos, Portuguese azulejos. Actually, it's a massa that is aesthetically, it's an azulejos. So this is something that is as another stage, as another. But actually, I think that this crisis just will make us even more creative, more with the sense of hunting and to create new solutions. And I don't know, I feel like that. Of course, if I think about the bad sides, I'm not going to sleep even. I mean, it's really bad. But in the other hand, I'm doing things that I shouldn't do in a different situation. So this is crisis. We have to take the good and the bad in both ends, and to transform all this poison in, let's say, in medicine, to create. Absolutely. And also the fact that we have much more connection, by the way. I have much more people whom to talk and to share ideas, like us, for example, and other groups. I mean, I think that we don't have choice. Actually, we need to be smarter than the situation. And thanks God, anyway, we belong to a kind of category that is actually already more free, let's say, more open-minded, or I don't know how to call it. So I feel more inspired. I feel more creative, and I'm trying to realize the best from this situation, and that's what I'm going to do, the best that I can.
I guess we have lost Shay.
Yeah, I think we lost Shay.
Let me get back to you. Since you had previous business, have you passed through the previous crisis? I mean, on 2011, I mean, 8, 9, 10, 11, did you have a business at that time, in those days?
Me?
No, Florian. Florian.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, no, what, 2011, I was, I had a business in London. I opened a wine shop in London, in East London, but now that was always, for me, was always kind of different, because I always started small business on my own, and then I was focused on a small a product that is kind of rare and specific, you know, so it always been, I always started before as well, like before a bit too early maybe each time. So I built from nothing, you know, from each different time I started the thing. So it took a slow. It always took me a little while, you know, to get to be successful. I mean, kind of, you know, but. So I always kind of like work with creatively with the things, and no, I never really suffer from because I always work with my neighborhood and stuff. So it's more something I always focus on the community, and then I did the same in Berlin, and then you know, I found solution without money. So from the beginning was kind of the program, you know. So I never felt that kind of pressure, but. Yeah, I live kind of adventurous life, so it's.
So Shay, Shay.
Pardon? Yes.
Shay.
You were out of the conversation.
Yes, I got cut off, but I'm back.
The thing is, we got less than a minute, so we're gonna start. We're gonna close this part, and we're gonna open another conversation. Okay? I'll be sending.
Sure.
Okay. So let's close. So here we are on the second part of our meeting, and the main goal is to share, get to know who are you, people from the world, doing what you love in your life, and hopefully, I don't know, Shay, what would be the goal for all of us with this conversation? I mean, it would be like to be an active participant on the whole thing regarding the food industry, right? It's not that this is a Portuguese or a foreigner thing.
No.
It's an everybody thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously some clear divisions because of the language barriers and so on and so forth. There are some divisions, and I think some of us straddle those divisions and don't feel like we're not part of the Portuguese side of the equation, but for sure it's not for everybody. And I think if this crisis has probably shown anything, is that it's only by working together that we'll find the best solutions to really be able to move forward and to be creative and to share ideas and to be adaptable in this situation. So I would hope that this would be something that would help maybe connect to those people who aren't quite with it in that sense yet, and will kind of bring us all together and understand that it's not an us versus you and so on and so forth. And the success of our businesses is the success of yours, and we're all trying to sort of keep this sector and this industry afloat, and we're only going to do it if we work together.
Yeah, great. And there's this thing regarding Lisbon. It's an open city. You guys moved here. You guys are part of a lot of people that changed the city and helped to change this country. Remind me, why did you decided to change to Lisbon, Shay?
I mean, like, for me, it was more trying to find somewhere that had the kind of quality of life that I wanted to have, whilst at the same time still being able to be very active and creative in terms of my business and with the food that I liked. And my first trip to Lisbon really showed me that it's possible to find somewhere where you can have great produce, have a great community, an interesting dynamic community of other creative people in your industry, as well as a city that's kind of on the up and has a lot of energy, whilst at the same time still also being able to kind of enjoy the simpler things in life and not feel like, not get burnt out and these kind of things. And, and that's something that was really, really kind of important to me and ultimately what brought me here.
Florian, did you felt the same?
Yes, for sure, yeah. Well, first, the quality of life, I guess, the way people accepted me as well. When I introduced my business plan, I got a really quick response and positive, and I felt that was the right place, at the right time, and the sun, the location, the way it's not that expensive, all of that.
Tiziana. Okay.
Sorry, because
I was asking everybody, why did you guys move to Lisbon?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Va bene.
Va benissimo.
Why did you move to Lisbon, Tiziana?
I moved to Lisbon because actually it's a kind of mystic trip that in the end, yes, because I had many options after my divorce, and I have two French guys, they're very, very good friends of mine. We were living very close when I was studying in Rome, and I had many options. I was in love to Lisbon and to the culture of Lisbon since I was 15, I think. I was really in love. And because we have many things in common, art, and that's why also Massa Zuleja came to me and I came to her, because my father was a chef, and he was talking to me always about nice places and with very, very intensive art sources. So Lisbon was always in our discussion, movies, and everything. So when I've been here, I really felt at home, definitely at home. And when I came here to check if was the case, because I have a daughter, of course, she's 9 years old, and wasn't only about myself. So I had to make the right deal with my life. And when I came here, I felt that was the right place for her to grow up. And I was coming from a lot of countries, a little bit more, let's say, arrogant, and included mine, of course. Not only bad, also good things. But I was really looking for a kind of society, slower but kinder, and I like a slower life, but uh, uh, of course having a high performance life in business, in friendships, and so I really feel at home, and I really love Lisbon with all my heart, and also people, because they are simple, let's say. And between them, it's funny because when I met Portuguese people, and I talk to them, they feel always this kind of sense of uh, I don't know, they feel like a bit less, of someone else in Europe, because
That's being that's just part of our
yeah,
hospitality.
yes, it's so
Maybe,
great,
yeah.
and you are not less at all. You are much more.
Mm.
This simplicity, this humility, and come on. I mean, that's what we need.
Humanity. We are always thinking about the world and how we so,
I
Tiziana,
think also the dictatura that you had short ago, I mean, made you also more pragmatic and less
perspective.
So,
Jennifer, Tiziana felt like she's at home.
yeah.
What's up with you? Do you feel the same?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. I moved here completely by accident. I used to work in a different industry, and my company sent me here for work, and I really didn't want to come. I had been to Lisbon in 2009. It was my first time in Europe, leaving America, and I didn't like it. And so when my boss told me I need to come to Lisbon to organize a conference, I was thinking like, why Lisbon? This was in 2017. And within 2 hours, I was completely in love with the city. And I started to make my escape plans from Berlin. And I moved here 3 months later, at the end of 2017. And it's going on 3 years now, and I have never felt more at home in a foreign place. And I've moved around a lot in my life. Portuguese people have been so unbelievably welcoming, and it's so different from Berlin. I think it's coincidental that 3 out of the 4 people on this call, we all used to live in Berlin, me, Shay, and Florian. At the same time, we knew each other from Berlin. We had our businesses in Berlin. And I don't know if it's a testament to how not great Berlin is or how great Lisbon is, but we all are here and have decided to stay after all this time. But starting my business, I felt so welcome by the Portuguese community. People offering to take me to the alfândega or to the city office or translating documents. It's just been they've been so helpful. And in Berlin, it was the opposite. It was, don't talk to me, don't talk to them, because they might try to steal your idea, or so much competition. And so, and then of course you add the weather and the scenery, and I can't believe Portugal is still so underpopulated compared to other places, because if I would have discovered how amazing it is years ago, I would have moved here a long time ago.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, a word that you guys can stick to, it's courage, because you have all a lot of courage to change your life. Maybe if you're a few of you guys, I mean, all of you have already moved for other country beside yours before coming to Portugal. Well, anyway, courage. So this was the first talk that we had among each other. We're going to be joined. We're going to ask other people to join us for next conversation. And our main goal was to present ourselves and yourselves to the Portuguese food community in order to make bridges and in order for all us to participate on each other's lives and specific moment. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting it together, Paulo.
Get back conversation next week, okay?
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't go away.
Ciao, ciao.